When I was first diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, the last thing I wanted to do was exercises, because every joint hurt, my knees hurt, my ankles hurt, my back hurt. How could I ever possibly do exercises? But in the long run, it was the best decision I've ever made. Why was this the best decision I ever made? Because it kept me mobile. It helped the stiffness that I was getting every day in my body. It helped me to be positive. I felt like I had a reason to keep going. I felt empowered because I felt like I had some sort of control in my life. I could do something rather than sit on a lounge and do nothing but watch TV. So I was very happy that I knew that this would help me keep positive as well, because I was able to use my mantras that I've discussed in other videos. So the next step I took was to make an appointment with a physiotherapist. I thought I'll start there because I didn't know what exercises to do, what was good for me and my age. And so I visited the physiotherapist. She assessed me. She measured the strength in my hands. She measured how my balance was. She measured how far I could walk. It was really good. Somebody was able to look at me as a whole person and say, I think this is what you need. I think if we can work on this, it's going to help you. And so she designed little exercises that were given to me on a physio app. And they started off just a couple of days to start with, and a couple of, doing a couple of exercises each rep. So instead of doing up to 10, I was doing like 3. And when I found I could do that, that even encouraged me more and gave me more confidence. One of the exercises that I had to do was for my hands. And I got one of those little stuffed teddy bears of my grandson. And I could not even squeeze the top of a very soft stuffed teddy bear's head. But I persevered and I persevered until the next step was I bought this ball, spongy ball, exercise ball. When I first started it, I could do this. Now I can do that. And that's how much I've improved. But I still can't take a lid off a mineral water bottle. I have to get someone to do that for me, or I do have an aide that can take the lid off for me. The next exercise I had, I'll just put this down, but she started me off on the resistant bands. And this is the weakest one you can get, or softest one, or however you want to describe it. It's got handles at the end of it. And I had to put that around a pole and then pull, like rowing. And I started with those. Oh, but the pain in my shoulders when arthritis hits, I had it everywhere, in every joint. It hit both shoulders. But I managed to do a little bit the same as I did with the squeezy ball. I managed just to do a couple of those. The next one was standing on my toes, and a couple of those, and practicing my balance. Each day, I got a little tiny bit better. One of the other exercises was stretching my knee out, lifting my whole leg, holding it and dropping it down. That was able to help me with the pain in my knee. I couldn't bend my knee. If I had to get in the car to go anywhere, I had to keep it straight out. The other thing I had to do was sit and stand. From your chair, get up and sit down, because I was so bad, if I sat in a lounge chair or a kitchen chair, I was unable to get up on my own. I just didn't have any strength. So I started with these sit to stand exercises in an office chair. And you know how they can go up and down. I put it up to its height, as high as I could, and then I started there. To go to the bathroom, I had to have an aid to sit down in the bathroom. The shower, I had a shower chair. So it was really important to build my strength. And this is where I worked with the physio. It wasn't a 5-minute job. It took many, many weeks and months. I found the best time to do my exercises were in the morning. Although you're very stiff when you first get up, I moved around as much as I could. Then I sat in a massage chair. It's only one of those very simple ones. It's not one of those lovely big ones where your whole body's immersed in it. This is just like a chair with a massage sheet laid over it. And I'll try and show you a photo of my chair that I use. And I'd sit in that. And then I was given for Christmas a foot massager, and it had heat in it. So I thought, okay, this can only help. It felt good. Couldn't be bad for you. So I did that every single morning. Then I'd have my breakfast, and then I was able to start my exercises. And slowly but surely, I'd do a few, have a rest, a few more. In those exercises, the physio added a recumbent bike. And I already had one of those because my granddaughter, who lives with us, had brought one with her when she left her husband. And I was able to get onto that. But for the first pedal, the excruciating pain that I tried to push through. And then I'd heard somewhere where they said, well, pedal backwards. That's better than going forward. So I'd try that. And I got through it. Not for very long to start with, but I pushed through the pain. After I did that, my next thing was walking. So I started with my walker, and I'd go around the house because there's a fully a porch all the way around the house, and I was able to walk around that. And on your app, it measures, it tells you to start, to stop and have a rest and start again. So you've got all these bells and whistles going off, which were really good. And I started off only for a few laps around the house. And when I built up with that, the next thing I did, I built up with my walking stick. Oh, wow, that was great. Let me tell you, I'm now walking without any aids. I found the secret for me was consistency. And this little app that's on your phone, on a morning, it goes off and says, don't forget your exercises. And then an hour or so later, it reminds you again, don't forget your exercises. So I found that a real bonus because let me tell you, I hated exercising, always have. I think I always will. And I think the reason being, as a child, I've always had asthma. So I was never an athletic person. I wasn't able to, be part of a lot of sports activities because the asthma always prevented me. When I was young, there was no preventative medicine for asthma. There was no spray, Ventolin. There was nothing like that. The only time you got help with your asthma was to be so ill in bed that your parents rang the doctor and the doctor came to your house and gave you an injection. I think it was adrenaline, and that was the only relief you got. They couldn't use it all the time, so you had to be pretty bad. We never got, I suppose if I went blue, I might have gone to hospital. So there was nothing to help you get through your exercises. And by the time Ventolin came in, I'd gone through my school years where I think exercise is the most important time for school because you participate in the sports at school, swimming and basketball or netball, whatever the case may be. So even though I was able to use Ventolin before I exercised as I got older, I think that it always left that fear of not being able to breathe. And what I do now, if I'm going for a walk, I can use my Ventolin and I can walk around. The thing that stops me now is a bad back, probably the arthritis, but I find the more I move, the better it feels. So I can't make excuses. And at my age, I haven't told you how old I am yet. You can all make a guess. If you like to put it in the comments and tell me how old you think I am. I have to persevere with making myself exercise. So I never played tennis, I never played golf a little bit when I was younger. Going to the gym, and I signed up for the gym when I was, in my 40s, and I went to the gym and I tried as hard as I could. Hated every moment of it, but I did it. I think I've mentioned to you, when I was at my worst, I was in a wheelchair. That was the way my daughter got me to appointments. When I went and saw my rheumatologist, I went in a wheelchair. And I think that I was so determined that I was not going to go into a wheelchair unless that was going to be my life, but I would do everything possible to beat it. So I then went from the wheelchair to the walker, from the walker to the walking stick, and now I can walk unaided. Can I walk far? Not a long way without having a bit of a rest, but I'm satisfied with that because I do have to balance out my age against what I'm able to do. It's not as if I've always had a whole history of being an athlete, running marathons. So for me, with perseverance, consistency, and just doing everything I can find that I can do for myself, It's certainly made a difference. Do I still have arthritis? Yes. Nothing like I've had. My hands are still not strong enough yet my left hand stronger than my right hand, but I know I'm there when I can get a lid off a mineral water bottle and open a jar. I know I'm getting there. Can I lift my arms to take my shirts off and that? Yes, but with pain. But I don't sing out like I did before or have that excruciating pain. It's, pardon me, it's unpleasant, but I can do it. Do I do housework like I used to do? No. Picking up a heavy plate is quite difficult. I'm always careful to look for the little plates and the light plates. But I force myself to start lifting the heavier things. So, of course, this is not a scientific study. This is my journey. This is how I'm walking my walk. You too can walk your walk. I just hope I give you confidence that it can be done. Once you can see somebody else can do something, it can help you push through a lot of things. If you find this has been helpful for you, I would love you to put a comment in to tell me how you're managing, what you found worked for you, because by telling me, other people hopefully will read it and find something has helped for them. I think this is a great community to be able to pass on how we feel, how we act, how we, respond to the things that come around us. In my time of life, I have to try everything because I know that it's become very easy for me to be able to sit in a chair and not get up, and then find myself living in a nursing home. I don't want that. In following videos, I will tell you other things that I'm doing to support myself. One of the things is like supplements. I'll talk to you about that. Not what supplements to take, but how to go about it, how to do it. I'm really enjoying having these chats with you, and I'd love you to either like this video and letting me know I'm on the right track. I'm helping you with information. It's certainly information that may not suit everybody, but you can take little bits and pieces. I know when I've read so many books on arthritis, spent a lot of money buying books, I may have only got one sentence out of that book that really a light bulb went off. I thought, oh, I must try that. So I'm hoping against hope. I'm praying for you. I've got faith in you that you too can beat these things that are put in front of us. So with that, God bless, and I'll be back here to talk to you again soon. Cheers for now.